XFM.
Stereophonics, Vegas 2 times, XFM 104.9 into the last hour.
Yeah.
And then 3 shows to go.
That's true enough.
Until we're off the air. I'm Ricky Gervais.
With him, Steve Merchant.
Karl.
Oh, yeah.
Alright?
Yeah.
Let's go on, tell you, we cut short last week, weren't we? You had an amazing story about Neil Armstrong, didn't you?
Well, we've been doing quotes, haven't we, like famous quotes.
Sure.
That have, gone down in history.
Yeah.
And, I was saying, quotes don't really matter. It's more the situation that you're in than the quote itself.
Go on.
So, like, Neil Armstrong,
Yeah.
if he'd have said,
Tie bacon round your head.
I'm as happy as a pig in dust.
Yeah, that would have still gone down in history as, like, being the thing that Neil Armstrong said, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Space is driven in mental, probably would have been the,
But he chose to say something profound and meaningful, to befit the situation. He got it wrong, actually. It's, a small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, but he was meant to say...
we discussed this last week, Rick. Stop showing off.
Well, no, but people might have been listening last week.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I can't imagine people...
we better tell him every week, then.
Yeah, but he said, he should have said, this is one small step for a man.
Yeah.
But anyway, he had a good effort, and that's quite...
And that's an example of what I'm saying. The fact that he got it wrong, but it still went down in history.
Right.
But anyway, the bit that... and it didn't happen anyway, did it?
What do you mean it didn't happen anyway?
That's what a lot of people say. That no one's actually been on the moon.
Ah, yes, of course.
They filmed it in Teddington
Well,
Studios.
they were saying something about there was shadow on the film, and you wouldn't get shadow on the film, and... There's all sorts of things.
There are these people that you always quote as they.
Who are they?
Are they living in jars? Are they little fellas in jars?
Look,
Go on.
Do they appear to you in dreams?
I've spoke to different people about it, and there's loads of little things that if you watch that programme, of them being on the moon, there is no way they could have done it.
Right.
Done.
Fine. Yeah.
Done.
Anyway.
That's put to bed.
Yeah.
But
Good.
anyway, as he was getting back in the spaceship on the moon, or whether it be a TV studio, he said... good luck, Mr. Croucher.
Right.
Have you heard this?
No.
And the reason he said that was because when he was a young kid, and he was I think it was Croucher, but when he was playing as a young kid in his garden, he was playing baseball with his mate, and he chucked the ball to his mate, and his mate hit the ball, and the ball went over the fence to the next door neighbour. Right, so he goes, right, I'll just nip over and get the ball. And as he was getting the ball, the window was open to his neighbour's house. And he heard, like, the woman shouting at her husband, saying, I'm not going to be giving you, a bit rude, so if you've got a kid in the car or whatever, turn it down. What, yeah, that's covered that, yeah. Right,
Genius.
I'm not, no matter how many times you ask me, I'm not going to be giving you oral sex. The day I do that, man would have walked on the moon. Right?
Yeah.
He grows up, he gets on the moon, and he remembers all that story, and as he gets back in the spaceship, he says, good luck, Mr. Croucher.
Now, do you know, we'll have to say, I've heard that story before, but when I heard it, the woman said, the day I give you a blowjob is the day the boy next door walks on the moon. Which makes it all the more profane.
Impossible.
And enjoyable. Yeah, and unlikely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've heard the same story, Karl.
Yeah.
Look how pleased he is.
I love that.
Right, so not only have you remembered that anecdote, which may or may not be true, but of course you've also proven
The
that,
day I give you a blowjob, that kid in the garden's probably going to walk on the moon and say something about giant leaps.
Exactly.
But, yeah, you must have heard the thing that it never actually happened.
Yes, we've all heard it. We've all dismissed it as nonsense.
And moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And got on with our lives.
Right, Karl.
What?
Should we do, White Van Man?
But you didn't prepare me for that. We better play a track and then I'll I'll fish out the newspaper and stuff.
This is a good little, a little bootleg track here from, Meats and Poultry here. They've, mixed, A with, Outcast.
Right.
Chorus is great.
Is it highly illegal?
It is.
So people shouldn't rush to their tape machines now and press play and
Okay, so
record.
whatever you do, don't record this now if you're recording it. Hold on, don't say anything.
XFM.
White Van, Karl. Got another one there?
Well, it's just your thoughts really on the Queen Mum's very British send-off that she was given this week.
Yeah.
What do you make of all those people queuing up to see her? Did you think that was incredible?
Right. Well, we said last week, there was I don't quite understand why there was so many people there, who were, like, getting really upset. Do you know what I mean? Really upset, crying and stuff, and, you can lose someone who's, like, related to you, and you don't cry like that. You sort of sit there and you think back to what you did with them and stuff, and then that's it. But, the queue thing, it was wasn't it like miles long and stuff?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Right, I was sat watching this with Susan.
12 hours queuing.
Yeah.
It never got to 12 hours.
It did, but that was the estimated time.
Now,
but how long is a queue when they're just like, you know, walking along? Think how far you can sort of like, you know, stagger in 12 hours.
Incredible.
It's been ridiculous.
Yeah. But, again, you know, if they want to do that, it's their time and that, innit? And it was at the weekend, so they could have, it's not as if they got out of work to do it.
No.
You know what I mean? They used their own time, so good on them. But I thought, right, what they could have done, remember when I studied Che Guevara?
Yep.
Yeah. Right? And don't be offended by this, it was just an idea, because they did it with Che Guevara. Remember when they cut him up?
Yes, they cut him up, yeah.
What was the reason for cutting him up?
Well, they cut up Che in order to try and, you told us that they were going to send bits of his body to Fidel Castro and various other people, wasn't that right?
As a warning, wasn't it, though, to all the people, like, one to...
Yeah, my understanding was that they cut him up in order to, so they could bury him in different places, so that there'd be one shrine. There'd be not one place that you could go to in order to sort of make him into a martyr.
A little bit like that. I've like
I can vaguely see where this is going.
6 queues, and it's like, number 1, you can, you know, go and pay respect to her head, or whatever.
Oh, God.
No, but I just was thinking the way of speeding it up. I'm not having a go, I'm not, because they haven't done it, so it doesn't matter.
God.
But they did it with Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Everybody would have felt like they've got close to her. And it would have speeded it up.
No, I mean, but I can understand.
Can I just say that genuinely, Karl is not being disrespectful here. This is his best idea to cut down the queues. So don't phone in. He's not suggesting we should have done this. He genuinely is. Well, but I mean, he's not doing it to be nasty or wacky or you know. He thinks this is a good idea. So
can I just throw a thought at you?
Che Guevara, who was like a powerful man, he did a lot for the world and what have you.
Yeah.
And
are you aware that I feel slightly responsible for this, because have you heard of the quote, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, next one?
No, just a very quick question. I can understand those that have queued for 12 hours to see the head. I'd be a little bit annoyed if I got there to find a toe. I'll
tell you what, though. I'll tell you what they could do without chopping her up. They could put about 9 queues, each could see each hip she had.
That's true enough.
Because she'd had about 9 of them, so it'd just be, if you want to see the whole body, it's a 12-hour queue. If you just want to see a couple of the hips...
Here's another suggestion for you, I've just thought, right?
What?
Instead of everyone queuing to see her, why not put her on a trolley and wheel her past everyone else?
Running. So
yeah, you could have some students on Rag Week, they could combine it, like when they're always pushing a bed. You know, they could just run it along the queue.
No, that'd be fantastic. That'd be disrespectful.
Right, as opposed to the chopping up.
So...
Sure.
No,
right.
But just an idea.
Just I apologise now if anyone's offended.
Anyone offended, I'm sorry, but...
Yeah.
Okay, finally, this is more frothy. Liz Hurley lying low, apparently, at Elton John's house to try and avoid the press now that she's had a child.
That's a good place to go to avoid the press.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, Elton John's house,
Everyone seems to be friends with Elton John, don't they? Every celebrity's friends with...
When did pop into Elton John's house? What is he running some sort of...
But it was like when Robbie Williams was a drunkard and a drug addict, he went to Elton John's.
Yeah, and who's the other fellow that went there as well? What's someone to, you know, to recuperate and, shoulder to cry on? Is he giving out false passports?
But I don't know if people have seen his history. He's not the man of, you know, I mean, I know he's cleaned himself up now, but, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe he's got this kind of insight into, how to deal with celebrity.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's just genuine mates with him. I think he's just like a friendly bloke.
I think she's been doing too much lying low in the first place. That's part of the problem, isn't it?
High five, Karl.
That was a genuine joke from Karl there. And he's so proud of himself. Look at his little face.
Too much lying low.
Oh, that was my
van. I agree with you. Why can't she just go around to her mum and dad's or something rather than Elton John, where everyone's looking? Yeah.
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 That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was good, yeah.
Very good, yeah. Right, what music we got? We got,
bit of Flaming Lips.
Flaming Lips, excellent. There's the classic Race for the Prize. Should have...
XFM.
100 Reasons and Silver on XFM 104.9. I love the fact that Karl went a little bit mental then. So happy that he thinks that a lighthouse keeper pops the light on at the same time every... Are you telling me it was never foggy?
Everyone has a routine in the job.
And why was he going home from work knackered? What had he been doing all day?
He never said he went home knackered.
He did. He said he went home, he's just done a day's work, he said he went home knackered and puts the light on and goes to sleep. That's what he said.
Yeah, but he's maybe a part-time lighthouse keeper.
Oh, what does he do? Works in the library, does he, as well?
No, listen, Rick, look, I'm really with Karl here.
What?
He definitely got you. He stitched you up right and proper.
Anyway, I got it right.
Yeah, but then you embarrass yourself by saying that...
stupid.
But
he's stupid.
You would never put a lighthouse light on during the day.
What's your next one?
And he'd been painting it that day.
Oh, had he?
Extra shattered.
Right, okay.
The next one, last one, this.
Yeah.
Lateral thinking.
Lateral thinking.
And you've written this yourself? You've had no help from anyone?
No, I've come up with these on my own.
Okay.
Right, last one.
Yeah.
This bloke,
It's always this bloke.
Yeah.
this bloke, he's got a brother that he's, never met, right? They got separated at birth.
Right.
You know, anyway, he gets a letter in the post.
Yeah.
He says, oh, I tracked you down.
Yeah.
Meet me at the airport.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as he gets to the airport,
Yeah.
he goes, there he is, and he goes walking over. How did he know that was his brother? He'd never seen a
They were
picture.
twins. They looked exactly the same.
They're born the same day.
No, Steve's got it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So he knew they were born the same day, so he knew they were twins, yeah.
I didn't say they were born on the same day, did I?
No, I'm just reiterating.
They would be, though, if they looked identical.
Yeah.
Sorry about that when we've got you there, Carl, mate.
Yeah.
You're quite upset about that. That was 1 out of 3, though. That's
What
not
about
bad.
this then? Do you know that when, two brothers, born on the same day, of the same mother and the same father, but they weren't twins? Why?
Say that one again.
Two brothers
Yeah.
are born on the same day, of the same mother and father, but they weren't twins. Why not? This is good radio.
You see, the problem is I heard you saying to Steve, I'm going to do that one about the shark in the pool, so I'm trying to think.
This has nothing to do with that one, though, is it? Clearly.
Give him the answer, Rick.
The answer is they were two of triplets.
Right.
I had another brother. So do you want to do the one about the shark in the
Yeah, go
swimming
on.
pool?
Yeah.
Okay. A bloke, just in his swimming trunks, walks into a swimming pool full of man-eating sharks. He walks around for a bit and slowly gets out the other side, and he's not bitten or anything. Why not?
Because they'd already eaten.
No, they're starving hungry.
He walked through the water.
Yeah.
He wasn't like a bridge.
No, he actually was in the water, soaking wet, the sharks.
He had like a metal suit on.
No, naked apart from swimming trunks.
There were real sharks.
Real sharks.
Swimming about. They
Swimming
were
about, man-eating,
starving.
hungry, yeah.
They were really hungry.
Yeah.
This fella gets into the same pool.
Yeah,
It's the same pool.
exactly.
He walks right, he gets in the steps,
Yeah.
he walks down, he walks
Yeah,
across.
yeah,
He's in the water.
yeah,
Up to his neck.
yeah,
And the sharks are near him.
yeah, they're attacking him.
They're attacking him.
They're actually attacking him.
But he still gets out, okay.
Yeah, walks out the other side. And hasn't got a mark on him.
I don't know.
Go on, Rick, what's the answer?
Yeah, I was lying about the sharks.
There weren't any sharks
No, I
in
was
there.
lying about the sharks. Completely lying, just made it up. Just an empty pool.
That's just stupid.
That's our point! They're rubbish.
Oh, dear. Oh. Oh,
That's
dear.
rubbish.
Look at his face!
He's so offended.
Oh, offended and confused.
XFM.
I can't
I
believe
don't know what I was
Karl,
thinking.
when you were, a little Pilkington, right? What was, if you had hair, what would it be like?
What do you mean?
Well, you obviously had hair then, back then. What was the, style?
It was like, sort of, I had quite sort of, fine, sort of straight hair.
Yeah.
Right.
Hairdresser once said to me, "You've got hair of a Chinaman."
He was a wise man, wasn't he? What do you think that meant then? Oh.
He just said, he just said, "You got the same hair as a Chinese man has. Very straight, quite fine."
Why is he telling it? I just imagine this pal going, the Arsenal did well, didn't it, sir? Shall I have something on that? You got that, you have the hair of a Chinaman. I'm sorry, nothing. You're not the spy. No, I'm not. Thank you. Good night. Oh,
You're not my contact.
yeah, lovely. You have the feet of a fish. I'm sorry, nothing. It's not you. Okay, next. You have the hair of a Chinaman.
It was one of those barbers. It was a cheap one, just on a railway bridge.
I don't believe that. Go on.
On a railway bridge?
That's why it was cheap. It was very low rent, so he could charge 50p.
That wasn't the barber, that was a man with some scissors.
Yeah. Did you go, oh, I have to move you there, sir? Wow. Okay, back in the chair, sir.
I imagine them on one of those things you always see in old films where you've got to press
pump it up and down, yeah, like a seesaw. Yeah.
That's not as good as that. It was just a normal chair, little wooden hut, and he did have to stop when a train came past, because it used to...
Well, because he had to change the signal.
Just making a few extra bucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's Manchester for you.
Oh, God.
I always
it wasn't Bernard Cribbins, was it?
I always remember him saying, do you want your hair washing? And I said, is it free? You know, does it come with it? And he said, yeah. So I said, oh, go on then. He said, hang on now, I'll just have to wash these mugs up. He had like a sink full of mugs.
Oh,
I'll just take these out and then I can wash your head.
Oh, no.
And that's why.
Why did you go to this man?
It was cheap. It was
How much was it?
About £2.
And when was this?
God. At 88, 89.
All right.
Yeah.
So what happened to your Chinese hair? When did it start coming out?
You have the hair of a bald Chinaman now, don't you?
You've got the hair of a Chinaman in a box now.
I used to just work a lot of hours, and I think
that's what made it fall out.
yeah, of course.
No, it's not. It's genetic. You can't stop
It's not genetic.
Of course it is.
Is your dad bald?
No, he's got more hair than me now, I think.
Is your mum?
Kojak's got more hair than you, Karl.
Anyway.
Don't have a go at Karl's hair. That's a bit harsh.
Oh, look at his little face.
What did it say before in that book about going bald? It said, it had a little tip, didn't it? We'll go over them later.
It says, if you're going thin, doesn't it say, cut your hair short and something like that?
So it makes you look thicker.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got people are offering Karl lots of. We're coming up to that. In
yeah,
a
we'll go through that. So obviously we
to win that BAFTA bag.
Shall I remind people what the competition was?
Yeah.
Last week we were giving away this bag that we got signed by various celebrities at the BAFTAs, and we asked you to email or write in with your suggestions as to what you have that you could swap for the bag, and it has to be something that will enhance Karl's life. We've had quite a lot of suggestions. I'll go through those a bit later, but they're some of them are quite eccentric.
Meanwhile, I'm going to play one of my favourite songs off one of my favourite albums.
I look forward to hearing it.
It's Radiohead, it's the Bends, and this is Black Star.
Go for it.
XFM.
Next one.
Yeah.
Stars in Their Eyes.
Blimey, it's a popular show. You might alienate a lot of people.
It.
Why?
Just, I think, if you've got a talent, right, there's loads of shows now that you can go on and make a killing.
Yeah.
Like Pop Idol.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Pop Stars.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So, people who will go on Stars in Their Eyes, they want to sort of be famous.
Yeah.
They want to be a singer. What I don't understand is why go on that show where you do all the hard work, got to do all the graft.
Yeah.
And yet, even if they win it, you never see him again. The guy who won last year, Christa Berg.
Ian Moore.
Ian Moore.
Before last, but I was now with his own stuff.
Yeah, but, alright. How did it sell?
I bet that sold well.
Exactly. Don't get it.
What I like is when, someone doing Edith Piaf, like, wins a heat, and, Matthew goes, well, I don't think you'll be going back to the, cleaning job, will you? Yeah. Yes, you will. Monday.
Almost certainly.
Monday. She'll be back there Monday.
Just, and just the way, you know, in like the final last week where the guy who was Elvis won, and they're all
I thought he would though. I thought he was very good.
No, he was good, but will we see him again? Do you know what I mean? What is his job?
I don't know.
He'll be carrying on doing that. There's going to be no change to his life whatsoever. He's very good at what he does, but he's wasting his time on Stars in Their Eyes.
So I don't understand exactly what your issue is. You clearly like the show because you watched the final last week.
He thinks... you
agree that people are talented.
You think it's a waste of talent to go on Stars in Their Eyes because it's not a vehicle to be famous, whereas something like...
Pop Idol,
yeah.
Pop Stars, even Big Brother. Do you know what I mean? Go on that. Sit in a room all day, have a month off work.
Because they're all big stars now, aren't they?
No, but what I'm saying is, it's less work to sit in the Big Brother house. Now and again, just sing a song, and people go, oh, isn't he a good singer? You come out after having a month's rest or whatever it is you're having there.
Yeah.
You come out and there's loads of record companies, like, waiting for you to come out and give you a deal.
And what happens then? When you get a deal, when you cut a record, what happens to that record then?
Then it's either sells or it doesn't.
And actually, what happened to it?
It didn't sell.
No, none of them did.
But what I'm saying is, that is a lot easier to do than all the graft that you have to do on Stars in the Rise and the pressure.
What would you rather do? Buy Craig's Christmas record?
Yeah.
Or, Ian Moore's, classics?
Probably Craig, just because the guy on Stars in the Rise really thought he was better than Chris de Burgh. When he was singing, and
I think I'm better than Chris de Burgh.
No, he was singing, and Chris de Burgh came walking on.
Did he cry?
And he didn't stop and go, oh, I can't believe it, my big fan. He was sort of carrying on, like, don't interrupt me, I'll have a word with you in a bit.
You think you should show the man he's actually making a little bit of living off?
Yeah.
Emulating.
A bit of respect.
A bit more respect.
And the most annoying thing...
I imagine them arguing, rest each other's floor saying, I'm Chris de Burgh. No, I'm Chris de Burgh. Like two ventriloquist dummies. Just having a fight in the dressing room afterwards.
But the most annoying thing of all with Stars in the Rise, people who go on and do people like, say like, I think last year, someone went on and did Lamal. Now, if you wanna, because the whole idea with Stars in the Rise, you get work off the back of that show by, like, companies, don't you, say,
Yeah.
who will we book?
Yeah.
You could get the real Lamal for about 30 quid. So why have an imitator?
Well, it seems to me, though, Karl, the problem is that show's been running so long that all the big names have already been done, so it's gonna end up having to be, isn't it, Lamal or some old kind of 50s singer you've never heard of? Isn't that the problem?
I remember when...
I mean, it's just
Eddie Reader was on there. You've had Eddie Reader.
But it's just a karaoke contest. It's just, I think you're assuming that everyone on there wants to get, you know, a recording contract.
They do, Steve.
Okay.
In that bit at the back where they say, and the votes are coming in, let's have a look at the tension now that's going on. And they sat there and they really think they are Elvis. And they are Luther Vandross. Sat there, and, like, if they were all sat there having a laugh...
Woke up this morning, looked at your picture just to get me started. Filth.
If they were all sat there, sort of thinking, oh god, this is a bit of a laugh, innit? But they're not, you can see that they all really want it. And it's like...
So what I'm saying is, who are you putting in Room 101? Are you putting in the people who are just there to have a bit of fun?
Everyone involved in that show.
Including Kelly?
Yeah.
He's a talented guy. You don't care?
No,
he's going in as well.
He's in there first, and then everyone else, everyone who enters it, the people who go and sit in the audience, everything.
But what would you do Saturday night? You love the show, you watch it every week.
It was just on when I was getting ready to go out, and there's nothing else on at that time.
Sure.
And it was the final on Saturday night as well.
Yeah, you gotta watch the final, you know,
final.
Yeah.
Well, who would you do if you went on the show?
Moby.
I'd probably do... Ooh.
It's not that you look like them, though, is it?
No,
you sound like...
because they wouldn't let me on as Tracy Chapman. I was furious.
That's annoying.
Because I sound just like her, but they said... No.
Bowie.
You do Bowie?
Yeah.
Can I hear your impression?
No.
Well, come on.
No, because you just said if you could go on and what have you. I'm saying that.
Well, it's got to be someone you can do. I mean, obviously I'd go on as Will Smith because I can do the rapping.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm not a good singer. I've never really been into singing. I've never done a live singing thing before.
Haven't you?
No.
But if there was a talent show on,
what did you do?
I did Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles, and I mimed, dressed up as a woman.
How old were you?
It was when I was still going to school, so it was like...
Well, I hope so.
12.
And why did you do that? What did you mime to, and why were you dressed as a woman? Where's the logic in this, is what I'm saying, Karl? What sort of act was this?
I think I was meant to get hold of some, like, Egyptian outfit. Couldn't. So I looked in my mum's wardrobe, and I had a dress.
Dress in a fez, carrying some lizards, that'd do it, wouldn't it?
I had some boots and a wig on.
And how did you dance? Look, he looks confused! He's
confused by his own act.
He's suddenly confused!
The best bit was it was like a proper talent show, do you know where you'd cover it all?
Yeah.
So I did like the dancing and the miming, and then I also did a bit of magic, right? Where I had like a cloth, right? And I had it over my hand like that, and the crowd were like, oh god, what's he gonna do?
Of course they were. Go on, and what was the trick?
They weren't saying that! The crowd going, oh, what's the great
That's one chorus. Ooh, what's he gonna do?
Oh, what's the great Pilconi gonna do?
So what I did was, I was stood there teasing them, and
teasing the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I pulled I said, I'm gonna make a bird appear before your very eyes. Okay. And I pulled the tea towel off, and I just had hold of an egg. And I said, oh, it isn't born yet. They loved it.
He's so proud of that! Look at his face!
Did you come up with that yourself?
Yeah.
Did you have any help at all?
No.
So you did Walk Like an Egyptian and Dress as a Woman, then you did the egg trick.
And then I was also playing like a janitor. Because when the next person was singing, I'd come on and all the electric went off. And I came on going, oh god, has anyone got 50p for the meter?
Oh, you're quite a little showman, weren't you?
And then, like, you know,
Did you win?
Chucked us some money.
Yeah.
And,
Are you sure you weren't actually employed as the janitor?
No, did you win?
No, I think we came second. This really tarty girl who did Madonna, like a virgin. And I thought, yeah, right. Like you are. She was a right ropey little woman. But,
so great. Okay,
brilliant.
so Spy the Stars in Our Eyes, we better play a track, hadn't we?
Oh, indeed, yeah. Bit of Tom McRae. This was a track we played a while back. I enjoyed it.
XFM.
The cast of Grange Hill.
Now, this will scare you. Now, this, Karl, you will be a little bit unnerved about this. Have you seen the film Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know what happened there? Well, according to the Sun here, it says scientists are planning to clone mammoths for a theme park. Look at his face, look at that, he looks like a dog caught in the headlights of a car, he's terrified.
I love Karl.
He sprung to attention
Karl.
there.
Is that the best news you could have?
man moths.
Right.
Yeah, man moths.
I
Man
love
moths.
the fact that that's why he was so excited that they bred a man moth. What is this? Yeah, it's a human being that hides in your wardrobe and eats an entire jacket in a day.
Yeah.
What do you mean man moths? Mammoths. Mammoth, the big hairy cow from the Ice Age. I mean, elephant.
You're not so excited about that, then? You can take or leave bringing back mammoths to life, but a man moth?
A man moth is a different matter. Oh, if we'd have never brought that up, he'd have gone and told someone now.
Yeah.
You know, they've bred an half man, half moth.
This
and
is
that's
what we
that's how
mean.
things start.
This is what we mean when you hear
don't-
these ghost
Are you
stories.
slightly deaf? Is that it? When you hear these stories, you're slightly deaf. And his head was in the basket, and he went, "Count how many times I blink." Is it?
Karl, is English your first language? Are you actually foreign? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Should we speak
when we say
slower?
foreign, we mean not of this planet.
Yeah. Should we speak slower? Would that be a help to you?
No, go on. Next
What do you
one.
make of
Do
that?
you think that's good?
Seriously,
Do you
the
think that's
idea
good
of
to bring
bringing
back mammoths?
prehistoric animals.
These giant elephants.
They're slow, aren't they? It's not as if they're gonna, like, get out and run fast and they can't capture them.
They'd probably be a
like
fence, to be
elephants,
honest,
aren't
Karl. They'd probably be a fence.
they? No, but
Big fence.
but you're asking it as if, like, oh, it could all go wrong, but it couldn't, could it?
Well,
Really?
but the point was about Jurassic Park is they thought it wouldn't go wrong. They thought they had it all under
Yeah, but
control.
that was
and
Have you learned
Dinosaurs.
nothing from Jurassic Park, Karl?
Dinosaurs would say, oh, think about it before you do it. But with a hairy elephant, it's not gonna.
not a concern for you. Would you go along to see him? Would you be interested in that?
If it was in the area.
He's the best. He's great, isn't he? I'd love a queue,
Nothing
right?
impresses
No,
him.
but what I'd like to do is Karl sitting like Yoda in a little cave, and I'd just like to see people like Tony Blair and, you know, Stephen Hawkins in a queue, and they go and say, "Karl, got a bit of a problem."
Yeah,
And
thinking of cloning a man and a moth.
Yeah.
Problem?
yeah.
Not an issue. No, if I'm in the area, I might cruise around and have a look at it. Otherwise, just don't send it near my my clothes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's just for a second. As the words "man moth" came into your head, how excited were you? I mean, were you both terrified and excited? For the moment when you thought that they'd cloned a man and a moth.
I pictured,
What kind of face did he have? Did he have the moth's head, or was it a man's head?
just a little man head.
Right. What was his face? What did it look like?
He just was like a bit shocked.
Perplexed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like he'd been grafted onto the body of a moth without his consent.
And when he was asleep,
Lad.
Yeah, he'd woken up.
he just went in to have a goiter removed,
Yeah.
and they said, "We've
He
replaced
woke
your
up with
goiter with the body of a giant moth."
Yeah.
Is that all right, Mr. Jenkins?
So he had the head of a little. Was it a little boy or a man?
Little man.
Right. Okay.
And he's just bumping into a lamp.
He's just bumping into a man.
Karl, if you went into hospital and they'd done something, what's the worst thing they could do, right? What would you rather have done, right? You wake up and you've got lobster claws for hands.
Right.
You wake up and you've got duck's feet. Or you wake up and you've got one horn coming out of your head.
The worst thing,
Yeah.
probably the horn coming out of my head.
Why?
Get in the way.
That'd be useful, wouldn't it, in fights and stuff? And for like parties, people would play
Well, I suppose
quoits.
the lobster claws would also be quite handy there.
Definitely.
XFM.
So go on.
Along the similar sort of lines, right? This is quite a few years ago. This fella sort of upset the royal family doing something.
right? So they said that this isn't good.
It wasn't Ben Oughton at that Jubilee thing, was it?
I can't remember what it was, and they said, right,
that was terrible.
We're gonna cut your head off. You know, you gotta show people that you can't be doing what you've been doing.
What was this, the 1970s? When you say a couple of years ago, you mean maybe sort of...
Was it the olden days when the phones weren't very good?
Ages ago.
Yeah.
Ages ago, sure.
So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So...
Very philosophical.
Yeah, imagine that, when you watching this going, this was literally ages ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Simon Sharma's History of Britain.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and even before that, which is yonks before, when it was all mental and different. Sorry, Karl, go on.
So he's having his head cut off, and he's resigned to it.
It's a day before, he's kind of got it into his head now that I'm not gonna have my head much longer.
Sure.
So he said, let's make use of this.
Yeah.
He said, I wonder how long, like, the body can stay alive without my head on it, right? So they were like, oh, I don't know. So,
Who were?
So...
The jailers?
Whoever he was asking.
These jailers with one eye.
Yeah.
Get that thing.
So he said,
No, wait a minute, I've got an interesting scientific experiment, jailer. Well, fair enough.
What is it?
So, he said, what I want to do, right, he said, you know, surely it's my last right. You know, I'm gonna be dead tomorrow. Sure. So, let's do a test.
He didn't draw it out this long, did he?
Yeah, he said, let's test this out, you know. He said, do us a favour. He said, you know, it's my last day. What I want you to do is, you're gonna cut my head off. Let's put a white line on the floor.
Right.
And see if, you know, because there's no point asking how far he can sort of walk without an head if there isn't a line, because you don't know what to count. Do you know what I mean? If it's just, if he loses his head and is running around all over the place, you can't really count
That's
that.
not impressive enough, yeah.
So they said, let's make a white line.
Sure.
Yeah. Who said this? He did or they did?
I think they started to join in with him and saying, well, let's make this a... You know.
You're guessing, go on.
So,
they got Norris McWhirter there. The Guinness people.
Oh. Yeah.
So they said, let's get this white line.
Yeah.
And,
dedication's all he needs.
We'll do this tomorrow. And he said, alright then, I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. See you in the morning! I'll see you in the morning! Night, sleep tight. Bye-bye.
I love the fact that Karl knows exactly what was said. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. He doesn't know the story or what order it is in or when it was.
He knows exactly what was said.
But he knows the intricacies. Alright then, see you in the morning. Bye, little kissy. Oh, I'm not like that. Oh, you joker.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah, anyway.
So he gets up.
Do you want a paper tomorrow? No, I'm alright. Go on.
He gets up and they say, right, you know, today's the day and that. And he said, well, you know, I've got used to the idea. So here's a white line for you.
Got used to the idea.
Go on.
So they go, right, you ready then? And he said, I go on. And they cut his head off. And the body walked 32 steps without a head.
Wow.
32 steps.
Incredible.
And that's the lesson, really.
Did it get as far as it walked along the white line, did it?
Yeah, it stayed along the white line, did 32 steps, and then started to stumble a bit, and it just fell over.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a test that your body can still keep alive for a little bit.
Yeah.
When you've lost your head.
Absolute twaddle. Absolute twaddle.
What do you reckon you can do then without an head? How many steps?
Nothing.
There'd be muscular spasm, right?
Yeah. It would twitch a bit.
It would, yeah. You could not distinctly take 32 steps. The body well, don't...
Yeah.
Is the doctor still on the line?
Yeah.
The fellow that bought 6 parrots.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could have got 32 steps.
Right, so
a
you don't
beheaded
believe
man
that.
doing a bit of line dancing.
Right, you don't believe that, but something that you do believe that a cockroach can live a week without an head.
It can. Slightly different kettle of fish there.
Why?
Wow, insect to human is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that difference.
There's not that much difference in some insects. Do you know that a snake has a heart and lungs and kidneys and stuff?
Go on.
No, well, I'm just saying.
So?
You're making out as if, like, they're a totally different, like, being.
Species. I am making that up. I mean, call me old-fashioned.
Do you know what you're talking about now? I don't want you embarrassing yourself, Rick.
Yeah, I am suggesting they're totally different beings. Yeah, that is, yeah. Now, Karl, the cockroach is a very different thing. The interesting there is that it lives without its head, because a lot of it's on, there's some of them are phototropic, chemotropic, some of them just literally have, irritation and muscle memory. I mean, they do have a central nervous system, but it's very different. So if you lose the head, it bypasses a lot of that anyway. All it does is run around. The reason it dies is because it can't take on water. But it's very different to, a man, right, having consciousness, and then losing that, and the body's still going, no, I think I remember what I was gonna do here.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna carefully walk 32 steps along this white line. Imagine just looking out going, oh, missed a bit. Yeah. Maybe the head was in the corner going, left! 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 Oh, he's now...
Well, let's just put it out. I mean, if anyone listening has maybe had a relative beheaded, maybe in a horrendous car accident, but they got up, maybe they went for a walk, they had a little chat before they passed on.
Carl.
Get in touch.
Carl, you are my favourite being. You are my favourite species.
Now, you, Karl, may not be particularly different genetically from a cockroach.
You are.
Why can cockroaches do that? Why whoever made them went...
Let's play a record with
do you know what, when I told him this fact, I send him little facts on text messages just to inflame his, interest. I just sent him a cockroach can live 9 days without its head. He texted back, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
What's the point of
They're
that?
not doing experiments, these cockroaches.
It's a boring last week to have.
And he went, and on top of all that, you're thirsty. So it's the worst week of your life, isn't it? That week without your head.
Play a record.
Play a record, Karl.
Competition time next.
We need some Karl. Look at his little face. Look at his little face.
You've not heard Karl's competition.
He could live without an head.
XFM.
Vines out of the way on XFM 104.9. You're listening to the Ricky Gervais Show
With Steve Merchant. And
we've
Karl
got
Pilkington.
to try and get on though, because
got
there's
time
not
for
enough. No, not enough time. Let's bang on. Let's do some observations, some satirical.
Take a sideways look at the week's news.
Yeah.
Who's the fattest person you know, Karl? Is it an issue for you? Are you concerned about fat people?
Only if I'm travelling somewhere and there's one sat next to you. That can be a bit annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Ricky pointed out a few months ago when I went away, we were talking about plane journeys, and you were saying how it's a bit out of order. When you go on holiday, right, you take your suitcase with you. This is all right.
Was I saying this on air though? Is this my question? Because there's a reason I don't say things.
No.
Sometimes.
But I think you've got a good point. It made me think.
Oh no, I know what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like if you're not allowed to carry hand baggage on because you're a few pounds overweight, but there's a bloke behind you who weighs 10 stone more than you.
Yeah.
Surely the whole package should be weighed.
Yeah.
Like you and your baggage.
Absolutely. He should have a carrier bag. And
so I can take on a Labrador and a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
He can take on a towelette.
Yeah.
To wipe
absolutely.
his brow.
Yeah. His sweaty, fatty brow.
Yeah.
No, absolutely right.
So,
and that does wind you up, does it?
But that's the only time. I mean, people can't help it. We don't want to, like, come across as if we're just having a go at people who've got...
But they can help it. This is what we're saying.
No, but that's a little bit.
But I'm talking about obesity. I'm not talking about people who are overweight or have got a problem with eating and so on. I'm talking about people who are obese, because that seems to me to be an indulgence. I mean, I read some statistics...
Well, God, if we're getting serious, it is a problem, isn't it? Because it's an eating disorder. So what's terrible is laziness and kidding yourself. But the people who have genuinely got a problem.
But it's a genuine concern for the future of our children. Apparently, it genuinely is.
Yeah.
Apparently, it costs. I was reading some statistic that it costs something like. America, it costs them like $119 billion a year or something.
But that's not what people are starving, because fat people are eating all the food.
I'm not saying people are starving because of fat people.
Oh, you mean?
I'm saying that it's a concern.
Oh, we meant we'll soon have kids and they're hungry because next door's ate all the food.
No, I just mean that apparently, because exercise now, people aren't taking up exercise, kids aren't taking up exercise, that we will all be obese in years to come. Not all obese, but there'll be a big obesity.
Well, I suppose the natural state for the mammals, we crave fat. We literally crave fat for hard times, but now there are no.
Well, you're all sat in offices typing away.
But our body hasn't evolved to take our social input in. So we still act like mammals, and we eat and we crave it, and we like to store fat.
Yeah.
That's why we have to go jogging, because we don't hunt, we don't do anything. So it's not really their fault. I mean, it is about willpower and sort of like, self. Hate.
But in years to come, we'll have just pictures, like kids will just have pictures of, they won't have NSYNC on the wall, it'll be like sumo wrestlers.
You know sumo wrestlers? I saw this thing about sumo wrestlers, because they're athletes, they go into this thing because it's a big honour to be a sumo. It's absolutely true, right? Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah. So you'd go along and you'd be 9 stone, and they have doctors there, so you have to eat to get big. Right? And this doctor was interviewed, Japanese doctor, and he's going, it is against, you'd think it's against the Hippocratic Oath, but whereas they do it anyway, I do it healthily, so he gives them diets of like, you know, 10 pounds of rice, 9 pounds of fish and things like that, and they get up. But now, because it's such an honour, it's almost a spiritual thing to be a great sumo and that, they have apprentices willing to... Now, you know, like when you're an apprentice, say, runner or something, you have to make the coffee, and or when you're working an apprentice in the studio, you have to clean the floor and stuff. Do you know what apprentice sumo's job is?
An apprentice sumo? Go on.
They wipe the sumo wrestler's arse because they can't reach. They literally can't reach.
Rubbish.
Right, we'll give out the phone.
Who's taking that up as a profession?
I know. I imagine that. I'd love to be a sumo wrestler. It's a great honour, and I'd love to work under you.
Sure.
Sure. So, what will I do? Start press-ups first?
There'll be some press-ups, yeah.
Okay,
there
yeah.
will be
What,
some
shall I
press-ups.
get into the gym now and,
No, don't before you rush
Go
off.
Go on. I'm starving.
No, I can understand that.
Go on.
Would you mind wiping my arse? Because
Right.
I've just...
Can't reach?
No, I can't get the arms back there. Can't get them down there. So, and but I'll be honest with you, a lot of this Oriental food, it doesn't sit well with me.
So
it goes straight through me, to be honest.
So it's quite messy?
It's quite messy down there. It's
Right,
quite runny.
okay,
So
okay.
be careful.
Okay.
You
No,
know,
it's a
wear
great
some gloves.
honour.
If you want to wear gloves, wear
I
gloves.
don't want to wear gloves. I don't want to wear gloves. It's an honour.
It's an honour.
This apprenticeship is 2 years, isn't it?
You know, you're not going to take my feces and sallow, are you, as souvenirs or
No,
something? 'Cause it is,
I will be mainly getting fat myself.
Sure.
Wiping your ass.
Yeah.
Great honour.
Yeah, no, good. Well,
Great
no.
honour.
Not
If
at
someone
all.
could call in and verify that. Look, Karl, look at Karl looking at us like we've just said the worst thing ever. You
This
say
is
things
true,
like,
apparently.
makes your eyes pop out and put in Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin. Don't look
How
at
did-
us like that. We're talking cultural science here and wiping arses.
Yeah.
So, play a record.
Yeah, it's lowbrow and it's highbrow at the same time, Karl. That's an incredible picture.
Oh, yeah, this is for all you people who like the odd cake. This is Bowie and Sweet Thing. Do you like that?
Nice.
XFM.
Can I take you guys back to the old school? Do you mind if we take it back to the old school?
Well, yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to lay on me?
No, I just maybe a bit of a De La Soul.
Yeah,
Is that a problem? Is it a problem
yeah.
going back to the old school?
No,
'Cause
no,
I'm not. We don't need to go. If you don't
As
want
long as it's vinyl shit.
it is indeed. Slam it on.
I never went. There we go.
De La Soul. Old school.
Brilliant, brilliant,
roller skating
brilliant.
Jam named Saturday.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Good stuff. Karl, so, educating Ricky. You were going to tease us now with some of the big headlines. You've got there. You've got that.
Dancing.
Getting grooving. He really is in the
He
groove there.
really is dancing there.
Right.
Right.
XFM.
I tell you, I wish you were a teacher. I so wish you were a teacher.
Do you know what I mean? Kids would be saying, I know it's 3:30, but I don't want to go home, I want more.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing with you. I'm teaching you.
Why are
taking
you
in
teaching
information.
me things about not to cut worms in half and what's tomato with you? Please tell me what's tomato with you, Karl.
In a bit.
No.
In a bit.
Rick,
What?
I tell you, he's thought the show through. He's
Yeah.
teasing the audience. You're excited. They're listening.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So listen, I think we should all, because we got your competition to squeeze in. We got all these great goodies. Let's not
This is
forget.
amazing.
Hello, Children of the Corn.
I do feel slightly
give that
guilty
away
that,
before
that now this is Karl Pilkington's show. I don't think we should have our names involved.
No.
It's not fair, is it? And I think we should give Karl the money.
I don't want my name to this. It's a Ricky Gervais show. Yeah? Right, the quiz.
Yeah.
Will we get that out of the way, because they've only got an hour to start.
Don't you worry
emailing.
about that, Karl. I've already got this one. I'm thinking on your terms now. Let's play a tune. We'll come back
What
with
we
the
playing?
big competition information. All right? Money Mark. We got a classic from Money Mark from his album Push the Button. Play that, Karl. And afterwards, are you excited? You got the competition. Look at his face. He's so excited now. He's thought this through.
He's loving it.
Rockbusters.
Rockbusters.